Alright, so... Damn, I need some, like, water. Oh, God. Been talking for, like, an hour for the Dragon Ball Super movie. I hopefully don't have to, like, stretch my vocals again for this, anime that we will be reviewing, and the Khaiza's doing another review on an anime because, you know, usually, again, I do Marvel TV or movie stuff and all that jazz, but this one definitely caught my eye. Well, no, I did like Star Wars, right? I did Star Wars, but I never done like an anime series, so we're gonna be discussing Tekken Bloodlines. We're gonna be discussing the Netflix Tekken anime that came out yesterday. No, was it? No. Was it yesterday? No. Yes, it was. No, not yesterday. Thursday. Yeah, 2 days ago. Yeah, Tekken Bloodlines, a six episode retelling of Tekken 3, and for those that are like diehard like Tekken fans, Tekken 3 revolves around Jin Kazama's rise. Jin Kazama's rise of like power, you know, or what was it? Not his origin story, but Tekken 3 is the game where Jin Kazama debuted. He is the bastard son of Kazuya Mishima and the son of Jun Kazama. So Tekken Bloodlines is basically just a rehash, or not a rehash, what was it? A remaster, a beautiful remaster of Tekken 3. So I don't think there'll be like any spoilers because, you know, like Tekken is like, I feel that old, right? Because everybody knows the storyline of Tekken, right? Especially like Tekken 1, Kazuya throws Heihachi off of like a mountain cliff, or like Tekken 3 where Jin rises to power and beats his like grandfather and fights Ogre, right? So maybe like a little bit of spoilers here and there, but I wouldn't necessarily do like a spoiler like thing for Tekken Bloodlines because again, it is like based on the events of Tekken 3 and revolves around Jin Kazama, the bastard son again, right? So it's a 6-episode anime series. I don't know what the studio did it were, but yeah, Tekken Bloodlines is a very solid like visual looking 3D anime. Like from the get-go, they're gonna be telling you, oh, this is like, you know, Tekken but with Kengan Ashura or Kengan Ashura vibes, right? The 3D like anime fighter that is based on like the manga, obviously, and so, you know, characters look really nice and like badass, right? The only problem, or like a lot of memers pay attention to with this Tekken anime, is the fucking shadows. Like someone even here, like the promo art, or like just like this right here, you know? What the fuck is up with this lazy ass shadow design, right? Like who dropped out of art college and thought that like, oh, this is okay? Everything else, like the character rigs and all of like how each character looks in the Tekken anime looks pretty fucking fantastic, right? They got like some flair, they got some like things going on, but damn, my man's, yo, what the fuck is up with these shadows, bro? Yo, why are there like rhombuses everywhere? Somebody failed geometry. Holy shit, man. I mean, I'm sorry, but like, how is this acceptable? How is this acceptable? Like, we're in like, what? 2022, or like close to 2023. And we're getting like anime like Dragon Ball Super or like a lot of other animes that look really fucking good. And we get like Tekken, and like, who thought they would greenlit an anime project without checking all of like the incorrections or the flaws, which I feel are shadows, right? Like, I don't know what the fuck is going on, but you know, it is a series. It is a series, right? So yeah, so Tekken Bloodlines remaster of Tekken 3, right? Jin's rise of power, how his mom got killed by Ogre. Yeah, his mom got killed by Ogre and has to be brought and is sent to be brought up by Heihachi Mishima, his grandfather, and trains him to be like a badass fighter. Has to learn the ways of the Mishima style and abandon the Kazama style. And after his training arc is done, he goes into the King of Iron Fist tournament. So he fights like a lot of characters, and he meets some friends like his friend Haodeng, his rival, and his school friend Xiao Yu Li Feng. And then of course meets a lot of other characters, right? Like my boy Leroy Smith, King, Nina Williams, Paul Phoenix, and Paul Phoenix, who was there from the first King of Iron Fist tournament, the one where Heihachi and Kazuya was there, which is surprising, right? Kazuya wasn't there, but like I said, it's Tekken 3. This is Jin's story, not Kazuya's story. And so like Jin like battles his way through the grand finals and fights Heihachi, defeats Heihachi, then fights Ogre. Ogre transforms into True Ogre, and Jin defeats him, awakens the devil gene inside of him, his dormant devil gene, and flies off to like nowhere. And that's like the end of Tekken Bloodlines, right? Yeah, that was really short, right? I mean, obviously, right? Because it's a fighting game. It's a fighting game based anime adaptation, so you don't really get much lore or like scenes with them. You do get like interactions with them, but it's mostly just about like the fighting. And of course this was 6 episodes. 6, right? The standard like anime, I feel, is like either 12 or 24. 12 or 24, and like for Tekken to do like a 6 episode like power focused series based around like Tekken 3, man, they did like a pretty good job, right? Yeah, like obviously character visuals look really spot on, you know. Characters look really good. Like I thought like Leroy looks good, Jin looks good, everybody's girl Nina looks good. All like the characters in Tekken looks really fantastic. Just with the shadows, I don't really like. But outside of that, yeah, the fights were really good. Like watching this anime makes you feel like you were playing Tekken, right? Like their actual fucking effects from the actual game. The actual fucking like hit sparks when someone like hits you like Doria. There's like lightning. There's actual like effect sparks that made the fight super fucking authentic. And of course, like the animation was super clean. Like it's like 3D like Kengan Ashura, so that's really dope, right? As for like pacing, you know, I mean, of course, it's a fighting game based like movie, so the general like assumption for like fighting game based adaptations is that you shouldn't really take fighting games like really seriously. Like fighting game stories is not really something that's super affluent, like especially when it comes to like Tekken. There's some like loose ends. There's some things that, you know, don't really make a lot of sense because they're not like the good old days like Tekken 1 or Mortal Kombat 1 where they were just like there, right? Now fighting games have spawned like so many like spin-offs and sequels that like there's so many characters, and right, that's like one of the problems that Mortal Kombat had is that Mortal Kombat now has too many fucking characters, and that its lore is ever expansive, right? There's only so much that you can do with Mortal Kombat in one film, right? But here I feel like if you were to break down a fighting game like story to like a Netflix series, whether it be anime or live action, I think you can do that. Oh, there you go. I think you could do that because, you know, we have seen, like, Mortal Kombat. We have seen the 2021 version of Mortal Kombat where, yeah, albeit they're fun films and they do justice to those characters outside of, like, the 1991. But, yeah, like, it's hard to, like, compact everything extensive lore-wise from a fighting game to, like, a movie. I feel like if you do a series that's either like 12 episodes or like 12 episodes that are each like half an hour long, or if you do like 10 or 9 like 1 hour episodes long, going through like each character tidbit and lore and all that jazz, I feel like that's where the money-making success for fighting game adaptations lie, is that yeah, just make it a TV series, right? Of course, it depends on like who's writing it, or like who's the storyboard artist, who's the director, and all that jazz. But Tekken Bloodlines has shown that you can make a remaster, you can make like a movie or a series version of a fighting game, and with polish, you know, with some polish, because, you know, the shadows, again, the shadows. You can make a series look real. You can make like a fighting game look really good with the way of, with how the story is being handled. You know, because like in the story, you get an extensive look of how Jin becomes like a survivor of the attack by Ogre. Right? Why is Jin the way he is? You get to see like Paul Phoenix. You get to see a little bit of how like Jin makes that connections with Haoreng and Xiao Yu. You get to see like personal motivations for King and Leroy. You get to see Ogre that comes in as a secret final boss. So it does like an arcade ladder system. Now that I think about it, this series does like a Jin Kazama arcade ladder, and you go through. Holy crap, I just like thought about it. Yeah, it's actually 6 fights, and the standard arcade ladder for a fighting game is either 6, 7, or 8. Oh shit, yeah, it is. It is a 6 ladder fight. What the hell? Oh wow, that's pretty spot on, Tekken Bloodlines. Holy shit. They made like each episode into like rounds. Round 1, fight. But yeah, like the whole show looks really fucking good, right? And it just like sparks in my mind that, like, you know, if they were to do like a season 2, what would the next season be? Like maybe something like Tekken 5, cause after like this King of Iron Fist tournament, doesn't like Jin become like the head of the Mishima Zaibatsu? Yeah, he becomes like the head of the Mishima Zaibatsu, and his daddy Kazuya becomes like the leader of the G Corporation in Tekken lore, right? Like he becomes like an edgelord, like he runs like a big, he is like a CEO, and that's what happens in like Tekken 5. Yeah, the story is like whack, but like I feel like when you do like a fighting game series that's about like, you know, their respective games, like Tekken is about the King of Iron Fist, and Mortal Kombat's all about Mortal Kombat. King of Fighters also has like a King of Fighters tournament, the KOF tourney series. I don't know what Street Fighter has. I guess it just like goes along. Yeah, but like if you do like a fighting game series with like a actual like fucking tournament, then like stick to like that tournament, right? Because I feel like Tekken Bloodlines just stuck with the King of Iron Fist championship, and it just like, oh sorry, it just like stuck with that while sprinkling like the things that make Tekken lore so really, not really like thought-provoking. Like it could be thought-provoking to others, but yeah, just make it like interesting. Like, what's their character motivations? What do they really like to do? And you know, Tekken is all about like the Mishima bloodline, or like the three main baddies of Tekken: Kazuya, Heihachi, and Jin. Right, so it's all about focusing on them. And I'm glad that they chose like the Tekken 3 origin story for Jin Kazama, because like, yo, where to start, right? Where to start? This is like his this is his phase. This is his journey to the mountaintop. If they were to like start with something with like the Kazuya arc, then there would be like some like weird shit, right? And I'm glad that they chose to subdue like the Tekken 1 tournament via like flashbacks or news articles. Because like Tekken 1, if you start off as Kazuya, you just assume that like he's just like this dude that joins the tournament and fights Heihachi. But then when it comes to like the cliff, but when it comes to like Kazuya's ending with the cliff scene and like he smiles back at the camera, like Kazuya's not really a good guy. He is a bad guy. he is there to like rip off your fucking testicles and like laugh at it while he does it. He is the devil incarnate. And so like for an anime to throw like Jin in a bone, because we don't like, I feel like we don't see, nah, I may be wrong, but I don't feel like we see a lot of like Jin favorites, you know? Like, he is like the main character. He is the main character, even though he can be turning left and right in terms of like how he does things, because he runs the Mishima Zaibatsu. But Jin is the main protagonist. He is like the hero. He is the Naruto. He is the Ryu. You know, he is that. He is all those things. Even though Kazuya came first because Tekken 1 is Tekken 1, but Jin is like the hero. He is the bastard son. He will do things that what he feels is right, you know? Like, he helps out Leroy. He helps out Julia Chang. He has a nice side with Zhao Yu and Hao Rang. He spares fucking King because I didn't know King had like a lore tidbit about him, that he entered the tournament for like help out kids at an adoption center? I did not know about that. Like, that's pretty wild. But yeah, like the fight scenes were pretty fantastic, not gonna lie, right? You know, albeit there are some things that like make the fight scenes a little bit drab, like the camera perspective and all that jazz, because I feel like I've seen those before, but they are like Tekken fights, and they make it really authentic by going for like lows or like combo strings. Like, everything about like Tekken does justice to like the actual games. Like, characters do strings, there are like hit effects. Heihachi does like a rage art from Tekken 7, and multiple times you see like Jin doing like the electric wind god fist. Doria! Doria! You know? That's not Jin, that's Kazuya. He says, Soya! Soya! You know? And he goes into Devil Jin. Nobody was sprouting lasers, unfortunately, but yeah, like, just, it feels like a Tekken fight in this series, right? And yeah, like, honestly, I would give this like an 8 for like a fighting game adaptation. For a fighting game adaptation, albeit, you know, some animation choices are really like front and service value. Like, I'm still banking on the fucking shadows. Oh my god. But it's a solid series altogether, right? Like, it is a good, like, constructed, like, retelling of a fighting game like arc, and what they chose was Jin's arc in Tekken 3 because he is the poster boy of Tekken 3. It's like his time, and I'm very curious of like what this like studio or what Tekken will like do next, right? What Tekken will do next, because if this series, you know, gets like a greenlit for like a season 2, what sort of arc will they like do, or what game will they do? Like, will they do like Tekken? Will they do like Tekken 5? Will they do like Tekken? Well, not Tekken 7. Tekken 7 is a little bit far beyond, and the story for Tekken 7 is like a little bit all over the place. Maybe best bet is do like 5 or 6. But there are some things that like I didn't like about Tekken Bloodlines is the choice of like English or like Japanese vocalization, right? Because like I watched Tekken Bloodlines via English, like English dub, and I would always like hear like words or phrases while I was like doing my work or like playing League, and I would get a better understanding if it's like English, and I feel like the English is like pretty spot on for like characters, like especially like Leroy, because English like Leroy Smith, he is an English man, right? He is like an American ass man that takes up like Wing Chun karate, and he sounds like super authentic to the character. But when you hear him in Japanese, it doesn't have that effect. Like it's like what? You hear Dante from Devil May Cry, and you hear him, you mostly know his voice from the English dub, and it's Ruben Langton, because Ruben Langton made fucking Dante, even though he started as like mocap character, but he's just like the Dante. No one could ever replace Dante. And so when you hear like the Japanese dub for Dante, it doesn't sound the same. Like, it doesn't sound iconic to Dante, right? Like, fuck, man, it sort of like loses its effect. And that's how I felt with like Tekken, specifically for like Leroy, because Leroy sounds badass as the English, but when you switch it over to Japanese, it doesn't sound all that great. It doesn't sound all that epic. And you know, I wish this was like a localization thing in the near future, but I want Tekken to like just have one like language option for Netflix and have characters speak like their native tongue, but you could like read their subtitles, right? Because, you know, that's the beauty, or like the one of the beautiful hokey things about like Tekken, is that when you go into like a ring match and characters like speak their native tongue, characters speak like actual fucking Japanese, their fucking languages that they're born in, whether it be English, Japanese, Polish, or Italian, all that stuff. And the hokiest part is that everybody understands each other's languages, and we understand it via subtitles. But everybody in the Tekken world is a master fucking linguistic and can understand every language in the known planet. So I feel like that's like an opportunity that was missed. Like, just make it like English or something, and then keep it as like subtitles for English. That's it. You don't need to do like anything else, right? Oh, and speaking of like localization, why was Ogre speaking in like this series, right? Like, what? Why did my man have to speak? I remember Ogre from Street Fighter Cross Tekken, and that he would always speak in like in like crazy fucking Aztec symbols. Because it's what? What's dinner? Chicken tikka beans. Okay, coming. Yeah, like, why was it? Doesn't Ogre speak in like in a very broad language that's not understandable to humans of the known realm? So I was like, wait, why are we reading English subtitles for Ogre? He speaks in a different plane than us. But they did like Ogre pretty good. I don't like true Ogre aesthetically because it's a fucking chimera. But I do like Green Ogre a lot. It's super, super nice and clean. But yeah, like, Tekken Bloodlines is like an 8 out of 10. Tekken Bloodlines is an 8 out of 10. And I still feel like, you know, if fighting games were to do like an adaptation of some kind, like, they should put it in like in a series, like straight up. Don't go for like a movie, because movie, again, you can only fit so much in a movie, whether it be 2 hours or an hour and a half. Just make it like, excuse me, just make it a series. I don't know if you could do like 6 or like 12, but like, you know, make it a series, because that way you get to explore everything. You get to take time with lore, explore characters and all that jazz. I feel like that's like a win-win, you know? But anyway, that's just me though. That's me though.